You may have not heard this yet, but Donald Trump said something controversial this week.
No.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
But the story kind of fell under the radar.
Donald Trump's proposal to put a pause on entry by Muslims into the United States.
Donald Trump versus America.
It's really turned into a deeply ethnic cleansing kind of logic.
The mainstream is recoiling in disgust and dismay. But Republican primary voters, they are a different breed of cat.
He's gaining support. These aren't chickens that are saying they want to support him in the election. It's voters. It's Republican voters.
Donald Trump separating himself even further from Muslims worldwide.
It's very much deja vu all over again.
It's pretty dumb.
So is Trump onto something, or is he just on something? All right. I have a theory. I know everybody here has a Trump theory, so we're going to go around. Right. My Trump theory, I'm going to go to you first, Anthony. I believe that he is playing Name That Tune with politics. So it's like, instead of saying, let's focus on a vetting system that currently allows 20 to 40 million people in return visits, he says, all Muslims. So he names the issue in 2 words. He does that, like, instead of talking about we need to reinforce our borders, the immigration system, he says, build a wall. So he has, his thing is Name That Tune, but he figures out, he says, I'm only going to use 3 words. People, it's China. I make deals. It's like he doesn't do the whole thing.
I could fix that problem in 2 words.
Exactly.
Fix that problem.
Fix that problem.
I got
and he does it.
That's awesome.
I mean, but then what happens is the next step is a modification of the bombast. So he says, you got to ban all Muslims, and then all of a sudden his supporters go, no, he was talking about people on a certain list. It's not all Muslims. It's not American. So the modification begins.
Walk it back is what they say these days.
Yes, exactly.
He's walking that one back.
But he doesn't ever walk anything back.
No, he doesn't.
No.
And that's why he's successful, I think, actually.
But he understands, and I think he's learning some of this as he goes along, the longer he's in the race. He understands that if he says outrageous things, his poll numbers go up, and the stories all become Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to spend money on his election. People will put him on the news. He will be on the forefront. And then everyone else has to react to Donald Trump.
Because we're the meth addicts. We keep sucking this up. He says something as opposed to us saying, hey, let's see what Ted Cruz is saying, or poor Lindsey Graham was like begging for attention. He's like, look at the crazy. I think my theory is he's like, remember Kramer and Seinfeld when he drove the car and he's like, I'm going to see how far I can go until I run out of gas. Kept going and going and going. That's him.
It may go all the way. It may go all the way.
The reality is, though, he is saying things that lots of Americans like hearing.
He's the id.
Poll numbers are way up. And what it is, I really think, is the media has actually created Donald Trump's success. They say that he's fear-mongering, but truthfully, the media does a lot of it. We're now hearing about ISIS now has a passport machine, so they can very easily come into the United States with fake passports. So Donald Trump is saying, I'm going to protect you. He is quelling the fears in this country. So people like hearing that. And so long as we keep having, this sort of divide between the media and Trump, he's going to continue to do very well.
I agree with you. I also think, Kat, I think a lot of it is our responsibility. I mean, our fault. In kind of shortchanging other candidates. In a weird way, I liken my role as a prison chef who is then surprised that the inmates are eating the meals.
Yeah, you guys like this.
But it's the only meal I'm serving.
Exactly.
And I'm wondering, how far do you see this going?
All the way. Yeah. I think it's never going to end. He's the Kim Kardashian of presidential candidates. No matter what he says, it just goes everywhere. It's all we all talk about. It's all anybody talks about. And his poll numbers, I bet that he has even more support than the poll numbers say. Because I think a lot of people, after comments like this, someone calls him on the phone and says, hey, do you support Donald Trump? They're gonna maybe be like, I don't want this person to think I'm a racist. So they might say no, but then vote for him.
Yeah, that's the thing about.
I actually agree with that.
The online surveys might be underreporting.
Totally
Terry,
true.
You where are you? I know that you're you're a very conservative guy.
About some things. About a lot of social stuff, I don't care what you do.
Do you see him as conservative?
Oh my God, he's the anti-conservative. Actually, that's why it's so funny and interesting and kind of sad, I guess, to see him doing so well as a Republican, because he's anything but that. That just shows how I think even fooled within the conservative community it is, where they're actually latching on to him and thinking he's the guy. It's because, though, like you said, everybody kind of touched on this, is that we're kind of looking for a dude to go F you. And you know what? I'm sorry, we're not Islamophobic in the U.S. We are Islamo-fatigued. We're tired of them. And when I say them, the ones who are attacking us and hurting us, I watched that picture of that couple coming into this country, welcomed by us with open arms, and they already knew then that they were going to do what they did. And everybody sitting at the dinner table goes, and then Trump says something like, get them all out. And that does resonate with people. And, you know, it doesn't mean we're a bunch of I'm not even going to use that word. It doesn't mean we're a bunch of bigots. People are just sick of this crap. And it was with Mexican illegal immigrants coming in and shooting people in the head or doing stuff. We have visceral reactions to this stuff, and then we sort of think about it. He has the visceral reaction and just says it, and people just touch it and go, "Yeah, man, I feel that way." Now, are they really going to go with that?
I agree with you on that. The only problem I have is I'm very sick and tired of if you don't support everything he does, you are establishment.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The guy Trump just came out in favor of ethanol.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more establishment can you get?
And there's people that'll attack you they'll call you a cuck-servative or something like that. I'm like, what am I reading here, man?
Wait, let's back up. He lives in a gold-plated tower in New York City. Yeah. He's not living in the middle of the heartland here.
He's not one of us.
Yeah, he's
not one of us.
I like to think he's
not like Hillary.
I like to think I'm one of him.
Let's not pretend
he may not be one of us, but everybody one day wants to be like him.
And by the way, and by him being so unashamedly proud and almost boastful of that, people are like, man, he's not sitting there trying to hide his money and go on for the people. He's like, I'm fabulously rich.
The opposite of Romney.
Yep, exactly.
Up next, special guest Maajid Nawaz and his moderate Muslim mission to combat extremism. Try saying moderate Muslim mission 5 times fast, I dare you. And later, how low can Bo go? New developments in the Bergdahl case. We'll be right back.